Everybody,
Shabbat Shalom.
welcome. That must be Livy. Hi, Livy. Shabbat Shalom. I've heard all about you. Yay, she's wearing my favorite color, too. Well, welcome, everybody. We're so happy to have you here to be joining us on this wonderful Shabbat morning. A Shabbat morning in which we get to celebrate this wonderful gift that God has given to us of a day of rest and a day of reflection, and especially a day in which we get to celebrate a young man becoming bar mitzvah. How you doing, Will? Good, you are. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to begin by first, if you have a cell phone or anything like that, turn it off. Disconnect so we can truly connect with one another. Although we are connecting with those who are streaming into our services, Shabbat Shalom. To those who are streaming with us this morning, we welcome you. We hope you are doing well, and we're always grateful to have you join us in our home from yours. So let us warm up our voices. Cantor, please.
We join in this opening song, which is called a nigun. This is a melody that has no specific words, so we can focus on how the music makes us feel as we sing the syllables yelalai, as we warm up our mind, body, spirit, and our voice as we sing together with a smile. So please join in. Yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la yalla la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la yalla la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la. Yalla la la la, yalla la yalla la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla 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 la la.
So as I mentioned, with our Shabbat service, it's a time of worship. It's not a performance today, so Will not be performing for us. He's going to be leading us all in worship. So how many of you, this might be your first time in a synagogue for Shabbat services? Fantastic. Okay, so my job right now is to make sure you have an idea what's happening, and to make sure that you're not too confused, but are able to follow along and participate. So first of all, there's going to be lots of great music that's going to be happening throughout the service. Lai works very well. Okay, so feel free, the words Lai, awesome. Cantor will lead us in the tunes, and just feel free to follow along. Now, may I borrow your prayer book, please, Will? Thank you so much. So, throughout our service, we are going to be using our prayer books, which, fantastic. Those of you in the front row found them. They're underneath your seats. Everyone else, they're right in front of you there. So, grab yourself a prayer book and take a look at it. And what do you notice about the prayer books? It's upside down. It's either upside down or backward. Exactly. It seems that way, right? Well, because, with Hebrew, which is the language of Judaism and the language of prayer, it reads not from left to right like with English, but from right to left. So therefore, the prayer book is going to open the opposite direction. So that's the first part. Now, if you open to the middle of the book anywhere at all, and you see some Hebrew in there, you're going to notice there are two different columns. So there is the column on the right-hand side with all the Hebrew letters, all the dots and dashes of the vowels, things like that. But then the column on the left-hand side is the transliteration. It's how we pronounce the words in using English letters so we can be able to pronounce it, because we recognize not everybody knows how to read Hebrew. So we want to make sure that prayer is accessible to everybody. And then below that is the English translation of all the prayers. Now, some prayers will have like alternative readings that we can do, different readings that have the same theme, but maybe something creative, and that'll be on the opposite page. Now, if you look carefully there, so you've got the Hebrew columns and then the transliteration. This is Will's prayer book. Will's prayer book does not have a transliteration. Ooh, Okay, Will has been studying Hebrew for a long time now, and so therefore his prayer book is without all of the transliteration. He is reading directly from the Hebrew. And his prayer book also is, you'll notice it's a different color. It's a lighter blue. It's also thicker. This is so we can go ahead and do a little PE with our 7th graders, with some, muscle building, okay? But actually this prayer book contains all the different services that we would use throughout the year except for high holidays. So it's got not only Shabbat, it has the weekday services and festival services within it. So therefore that means because he has a larger prayer book, his page numbers are different than ours, sort of. You'll notice at the bottom of your pages there, where the page numbers are, there are 2 sets of page numbers, black and blue. You're going to follow along in the blue page numbers. That will correspond then to Will's prayer book. So that way we're all on the same page. But I'm bumped. Okay. So here you go, my friend. Thank you. So we also, of course, we pray with our voices, with singing. Feel free to read along when Will lets us know where we are in the prayer book. So if you want to join along in a prayer, by all means, feel free to join along, because this is your prayer experience as well. We pray with our bodies, as far as there will be times we will invite everyone to please rise as a way of showing respect before God. There are times that we bow in humble reverence before God too, so there's even some choreography that kind of happens. And then finally, we pray with what we wear. So we have the kippah, the yarmulke, the head covering. That is a reminder of God's presence all around us. And then finally, there is the prayer shawl, the talit. We are commanded to wear fringes on the corners of our garment. Now, these fringes are called tzitzit. Now, the tzitzit, we are told, are to remind us of the 613 commandments that we find within the Torah. When we look upon them, we're reminded not of exactly each and every one of them, but we're reminded of something very important. We're supposed to study all of the mitzvot, all of the commandments. And then we ask an important question because, let's face it, we have over 3,000 years of Jewish text and laws. We have to ask the question of these ancient laws that were written down so long ago, how do we interpret them today? How do we find meaning in them today? How do we make them relevant in our lives today? Because Judaism is very much a religion that is alive. And so with that, anytime that a young woman becomes a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment, so becoming, not having. Melanie had a bar mitzvah 13 years ago. All right, but one becomes bar or bat mitzvah. So when a young woman becomes a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandments, she receives her first talit. And so too, when a young man becomes a bar mitzvah, he receives his first talit. So, will you come and join me, please? And I'm going to invite forward at this time Maureen Lokkesmoe to come forward and to present you with your first talit.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef batzitzit.
Amen.
Amen.
Now you can go right in front. There you go. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, eternal soul of the universe, who makes us holy through all of the mitzvot and commands us in wearing fringes on the corners of our garment. So wonderful. Mazel tov. Thank you.
Mazel tov, precious.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. As we continue and we begin our service on page 186, Modeh Moda Ani, giving thanks to all for all of our blessings today and always.
Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechezartam b'nishmati b'hemlam, b'hemlam, Rabba emunatecha. Rabba emunatecha, modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechezarta b'nishmati b'hemlam, b'hemlam, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha.
As we turn now to page 224, Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחיי כל בית ישראל, בהגלה ובזמן קריב, במהרו אמן. יהי שמרה במבורך, לעולם ולעולם מעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויבהר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בידמה וימרו אמן.
We rise now for Baruch Hu, the call to worship, page 226.
Yai, 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 Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvarei hoshe osei shalom uvarei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid Ma'aseh Bereshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha, Adonai, kulam bechochma asita. Ma'al haaretz kinyaneha, titbarach, Adonai Eloheinu. Al sheva ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'oreor, she'asita yefa'arua selah.
Or Chadash, Ad Zion Ta'ir, 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 V'nizke Kulanu,
Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. Please join me on page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light-blinded we saw, that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke, and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated as we continue chanting together the Ve'ahavta on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shokmecha u'fkumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtzavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kiddushim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem
מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue on page 240 singing Miha Moha.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi chamocha neda b'kodesh Nora tehilot tosef eleh Nora tehilot tosef eleh Shir HaChadasha shibechu gehulim L'shimcha asif atayam Yachad kulam hodu vehimlichu ve'amelu Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Su Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael ufedechinu umecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael Go aleinu Adonai Tzivaot Shemo Kiddush Yisrael Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'a Yisrael
Page 242.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips and that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'koneh Hakol Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem Lema'an Shemo be'ahava Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatzal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim. ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakom. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam Kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom kakatuv al yad neviecha v'karazeh el zeh ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzevaot Meloch kol haaretz Kevod Adonai Adonenu Mahadir Shimecha Bechol Haaretz Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimekomo Echad Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav Le'nei Kol Chai Ani Adonai Elohechem Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Yichzion Ledor Vador Hallelujah Ledor Vador Nagid Gorelecha ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations, we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We join together at the bottom of page 250 as we sing Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברידולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברידולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברידולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברידולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברידולם.
We continue on page 252. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts and serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We continue on page 255. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life and peace and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai,
She'otecha levadecha be'yira na'avod.
Please join me on page 257. For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. Modim anachnu la. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons. Modim anachnu la. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu la.
For human community, our common past and future hope. Our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work. For peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu la.
For high hopes and noble causes. For faith without fanaticism. For understanding our views not shared.
Modim anachnu la.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world. Who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu la.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu la.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha uvacha na'eh ledodot.
Amen. As we continue on page 258, joining together with Sim Shalom.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chema chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'ato Yisrael, amecha, maheinu yosreinu kulam kechad, ve'or Talanu Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uracha, cheva chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, amecha. Ve'ahavar chesed u'tzedaka u'racha ve'rachamim ve'chayim v'shalom. Sim shalom, tova u'racha, cheva chesed ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, amecha. V'tov ve'elecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, אין בה חסד ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, עמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We continue in silent meditation.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, והימרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, והימרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, והימרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, והימרו אמן, והימרו אמן.
We continue now with our Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service, at this moment in this time of Shabbat when we get to read from our Torah scroll. Now, Torah contains the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, all within one scroll. Now, you might have noticed earlier when we went up to the Ark for our blessing called the Amidah, we have 5 Torah scrolls in there. And with each of those scrolls, they're all exactly the same in that they contain the exact same words, the exact same stories, all written almost the exact same way except for the handwriting, because they're handwritten by a scribe. And in fact, we'll take a few moments in a little while where I'll invite you, you can come up and you can come see a Torah scroll up close and personal and talk to you a little bit about how it's written. But what's interesting with the Torah scrolls is while we have 5 that are in there, each one is also very unique. First of all, of course, by the handwriting, where it was written, where it came from. The Torah scroll that's on the very top in our ark there, it's in that hard shell case, is a Sephardic Torah scroll. Sephardic Jews come from the Middle East as well as Spain. And so, of course, when you think about how do you take care of a Torah scroll in the middle of the desert with wind, you want to be protecting it, so therefore it's in that hard shell case. Now we have a blank spot there in the Torah, in the ark, which is our Czech Torah scroll. This is a Torah scroll that is over 300 years old. And we're in the process right now of actually repairing that Torah scroll. And we as a congregation, in fact, are helping in that process. Our scribes have most of the Torah scroll, actually in Florida, but the ark that was there in the living room has 3 sheets from that Torah scroll that we as a congregation are working on in repairing with our scribe who comes and visits. And in fact, William, I hope that you and your parents and your family and anybody else here who wants to participate in that will definitely take that opportunity to literally write in the Torah scroll. Don't worry, the scribe will sit there with you and help you write a letter in the Torah scroll. So we're doing that in May and again in August. So really, anybody can come and help be a part of this wonderful process of repairing a Torah scroll. Why do we do that? Well, we do it because we want to make sure that Torah is passed on from generation to generation. We want to make sure that it is sustainable. We want to make sure that it is something that is carried on from one generation to the next. Not only in the literal sense of the words, of being able to read exactly what's on the page itself, but especially to ask, just as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the tzitzit, especially to ask, what do these words that were written down so many generations ago, what do they mean for us today? How do we find meaning in all of these laws and in all of these stories? Torah is called an Eitz Chaim, a tree of life. A tree is living, a tree is constantly growing and changing. So too with Torah, while the words remain exactly the same, because we're not allowed to change anything in the Torah. It has to be exactly the same always. So while we go ahead and do that, while we know that the Torah is the same that way, the stories of it, the laws are written within it, we interpret them and we ask, what's the meaning of them? What can we learn about them today? And then take that with us and carry that with us. Well, here's the really exciting part. William is our bar mitzvah. So he today takes on the responsibility not only to lead us in worship, but also to be able to teach us. We're in this double portion, actually, of Acharei Mot Kiddushim. It is literally in the center of the Torah scroll. It is in the book of Leviticus. What's really exciting about today is that I'm not going to tell you about the Torah portion. William will. He's going to teach us all about the meaning of this wonderful Torah portion and what it is that we can glean from it and take with us. So with that, let us begin this wonderful service for our reading of Torah as we turn to page 362 in our prayer books with Ein Kamocha.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kimasecha malchutecha malchut kol amim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, Adonai oz lamo yitein, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom.
Throughout our Torah service, we're going to have a number of people participate in our honors, from holding our Torah cover and its binder, as well as passing Torah through the generations, opening our ark doors, and even those who will also be participating in the blessings of Torah. So it is my honor to invite forward to first stand right here on the floor in front of us. We're passing Torah through the generations. Linda Howard, along with Melanie and Justin, followed by Will. So if you'll all go right down here, so will be on the far left right here. And then holding our Torah cover and our binder, we've got a few of you, even though there's only two pieces. We've got Yonatan and Rebecca and Benjamin Redkema. So you guys are going to have a seat right in the front row right here. And also, Livy, if you want to help out as well, perfect. Go right to the front row there. Awesome. And I'd like to now invite forward to open our ark doors, Claire and Jacob Beal, to please come forward. As we're going to continue now in the middle of page 362, please rise.
Av harachamim hetiv avitzoncha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki levar batachnu melech elam v'nisad olamim.
Page 364.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Page 366.
Baruch shenatan et Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadelu l'Adonai iti, unerom b'ma shemo yachdav.
Stay right here. You stay right there. As I said earlier, our Torah is passed on from one generation to the next. Each of you have been bearers of its tradition, but also students as well, holding on to it and embracing it and learning from it, and giving it to this generation here today. Melanie, you and Justin, you today take on this responsibility of giving this wonderful gift to your son, to Will. Will, this is yours. Got it? Perfect. You want to put it on the other side? Of course. Perfect. There you go. Now do you got it? Yeah. Awesome. It is all yours. May its weight continue to keep you rooted in your tradition, but also may it always lift you up and inspire you as we walk now in the light of Torah.
Lecha Adonai hagidula v'hagivura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz lecha Adonai הממלכה והעמית נעשה לכל ראש. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
Before you are seated, I want to invite those of you who would like to come forward to see a Torah scroll up close. So go ahead and come on up. Don't be shy. Come on all the way up. What did you say? You can stay up here if you want to. Okay. Come on up. Don't be shy. Perfect. Yeah, those of you, if you'd like to come see the Torah scroll up close. There you go. All right. So, 1 second here. Perfect. All right. Here, why don't you go ahead and hold. Sam, why don't you hold this right here? Perfect. Here's what I'm going to do in just a second. watch out real quick, Sam. I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to go over here. And my little ones who are right there, up you go. Go for it. No, you've seen it before. You go over there for a second, Sam. Come on over here. Let's let our guests. Come on. Here you go. You got it? Perfect. Here, Livy, come over here. There you go. All right. Actually, can Livy join you up here too? Perfect. Up here you go. There you go. Beautiful. Good. You got a hold of that? Awesome. All right. Hi. So, first of all, the rest of you who are still standing, if you'd like to, you're welcome to be seated. Great. So, here's what we got. We have a Torah scroll. Now, when we marched around with the Torah scroll just a second ago, that was our being able to remind ourselves that Torah belongs to all people. All right? So, Torah belongs to each of us. Doesn't belong to me, doesn't belong to the cantor. It belongs to all of us. So, therefore, when we march around the congregation like that, it's called a hakafah. It's that reminder that it is. It's ours, and that we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to learn and to grow and to challenge it even, all right? And to be able to ask questions like, why? Why do we believe this? Why does it say this? What does it mean? So that's the purpose of our hakafah, of our marching through the congregation with it. Now, Torah scroll also, because it's a scroll, it needs to be bound together. Otherwise, it's a little unwieldy, okay? So all of our B'nai Mitzvah students in the fall of their 7th grade year, we go together for this wonderful retreat, and all of our B'nai Mitzvah students make Torah binders that is then used on the day when they become bar or bat mitzvah. This is Will's. Oh, I know, pretty cool. All right, so this will be his to go ahead and take home with him, and then anytime he comes to read from Torah, he should bring his Torah binder with, so that way Torah is always bound with a little bit of you. So I didn't give you anything yet, right? So you're going to hold that for a little bit. Perfect, although you got the Torah at the moment. So here, Livy, why don't you hold this for a second, because I think he's a little bit busy right there. Perfect, awesome. So Torah is handwritten by a scribe. It is written on parchment, okay? Everything with the Torah is natural. Parchment comes from a kosher animal. Evan and Sam. Hello, gentlemen. Good day. All right, so here's the thing. What are the two things we need for a kosher animal? Perfect. Split hooves, choose its cud. All right, so split hooves and choose its cud. What kind of animal? Cow? Piggy? No piggy. Why is a piggy not kosher? It does have split hooves. That's the challenging part, because on the outside, it's like, oh, it has split hooves, except it doesn't chew its cud. Yeah, do you know what that whole chewing its cud thing's all about? Yeah, digestion, how they digest their food. Never mind, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you later on after lunch, okay? There you go. All right, so that's why piggy is not kosher. All right, they're cute. You can have it as a pet. Don't eat your pets. All right, good rule. Okay, so cow, sheep, goat, animals like that. So you can see on the parchment here, so this is the skin of an animal, you see the coloration of the animal. Then it is sewn together, so it's written in sheets, okay? And the sheets are then sewn together using sinew. So it comes from the muscle of the animal, stretched out to become this very, very strong thread, which is wonderful. Then we have the ink that the Torah is written with. It's made from gall nuts, which is found in trees where a wasp has laid its eggs, and then the remnants of that. There you go, I got that. Cool. That is going to then be ground up, added some other ingredients to it, that's then ground together, boiled, cooled, boiled, cooled. It takes about a year to make ink. And the reason why is because we need to make sure that it is permanent, that it's indelible. Remember I told you about our Torah scroll that's over 300 years old? Well, there are parts of it that need to be repaired. The writing in it is still very, very clear. This is our newest of our Torah scrolls. It's about 14 years old, so it's very, very clear to see. But you can have a Torah scroll last for hundreds of years if you take very good care of it. The last ingredient, by the way, that's in the ink is, yes, honey. So that Torah should be sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. awesome. So that whole idea that Torah should be sweet, and learning of it should be sweet, and that gives it its shine. Now, a scribe is going to sit down and hand write this. You cannot put this through a computer. Okay, you can't put it through a printer. It's been written down the exact same way for generations. And the number one rule, I said it earlier, you can't change anything. All right? You can't take anything away, and you can't add anything. Which means if you saw earlier in the prayer books where you had within it, like with the Hebrew, the little dots and dashes that were next to letters, above the letters, below the letters, those are the vowels. Originally, Torah had no vowels, and in Hebrew had no vowels. If I gave you all English with no vowels, you would be able to read it because you know the language. You would be able to decipher what it means. Same thing was with Hebrew. We didn't need vowels. But then, when we were dispersed and we started living in different countries, speaking different languages, we needed to go ahead and put the vowels in. Because you change a vowel, you can change the meaning of a word. So therefore, we needed the vowel system to make sure we weren't changing anything. But, number one rule, you can't change anything in the Torah. So I can't add the vowels, or the trope marks, or the punctuation, much to the chagrin of our B'nai Mitzvah students. There are no vowels or punctuation. That's why Will, when he learns how to read Torah, and all of our students learn how to read Torah, all of us, when we go to study Torah, we start with a text that we call pointed, that's got all of the vowels and the punctuation in it. And then after you learn it, then you move over to the Torah script. All right? If a scribe makes a mistake, no problem. He just goes ahead, or she goes ahead and tries to scrape it off and corrects it. If they cannot correct it, guess what they have to do? Start all over. Exactly. Not the entire Torah. Don't worry, no panic attacks. just that sheet. Okay, they have to start that all over again. Finally, we don't want to be touching where the ink is, because remember I said a Torah can last for hundreds of years? Exactly. If we do, the oil in our fingers will eventually cause that ink to break down, and then it doesn't last as long. So we use this amazing thing that is being held right here. Perfect. What does that look like, by the way? What's that? What is that on there? Is that a pointer? Is it a hand? Yeah. Cool. Do you know what the Hebrew word for hand is? Yad. Can you say yad? Yad. Excellent. Do you know what that thing is called? Yad. Yeah. Perfect. Woohoo. Congratulations, you just learned your first word in Hebrew. Now you probably knew some already. There you go. Okay. So now here's something else that's really cool. You ready? You're getting the test. Bum, bum, bum. Don't worry. There's no hole in the ground. It won't fall. Come here. This is easy. I promise. All right. So may I borrow the yad for a moment? Thank you very much. You see here in the parchment, there are lines that are etched into it, okay? The scribe, when they prepare the parchment, they're going to etch these lines in to make sure that it's straight, okay? So justified on the columns are, and then also lines to make sure that we write straight. I don't know about you guys. If I don't have lines, it's all over the place. So do you see the etched lines that are there? Okay. Now the letters, the lines, are the letters hanging on the line, or are they sitting on the line? Yeah, exactly. They are hanging from the line. They're not sitting on it. Feel free, you can go closer there. They are not sitting on the line, they're hanging. There's a beautiful midrash, a story that talks about how when the lines there represent the division between heaven and earth. And that whole idea then that the letters are all of us. And so we're hanging on to that line there because we are aspiring to be more holy, more godlike, reaching up toward the heavens, towards God. And so therefore, when a scribe sits and writes a Torah scroll, they hang the letters from the line as opposed to sitting on the line. There you go. Any questions? There's a little bit, so there's some crowns that do go above the line some. That is just as a style, and you'll notice actually with some different Torah scrolls, based on where the scribe learned or who they learned from actually, because there's no school to go learn how to write a Torah. you are taught from a scribe. So, and that scribe is taught from another scribe, and that from another scribe. So, in fact, in our Czech Torah scroll, we have some unique features to it. And the biggest one is called a spiral pei. The letter pei in the center of it has a spiral to it. It's really cool looking. We don't see it anymore because, unfortunately, the Czech Torah scroll, the reason why we got it was after the Holocaust. So when Jewish communities throughout Eastern Europe were completely destroyed, the Judaica was then put into warehouses, and then it was through a gentleman from London who came forward, created the Westminster Trust, collected over 1,654 Torah scrolls, and then they took ones that could still be used and dispersed them to congregations like ourselves in order to keep them, to keep them out there and keep them alive. Well, that pei, that spiral pei, we have no idea why it exists because there are no longer any scribes who know the story. They were all killed during the Holocaust. Nobody passed it on. And in fact, there are no new Torah scrolls written in Eastern Europe because you have to learn from a scribe who's taught from a scribe who's taught from a scribe. And currently at this time, there are no scribes in Eastern Europe who are writing new Torah scrolls. Our new Torah scrolls are mostly coming from America and from West Europe, as well as Israel. And so we can no longer write that spiral pei, because I can't write something that I can't explain why we do it. So it's a very, very cool, different feature, and that's why it's so important for us to take care of this particular Torah scroll. So, any other questions?
What type of pen is used?
I'm sorry?
What type of pen?
A feather, a quill is actually used. So they are dipping in the ink and they are writing. So I encourage you, if you are around, if you are local, May 15th and 16th, and then again in August, on our website, you can go, visit it, sign up, come and sit with our Torah scribe, and physically you get to write a Torah letter in it. He will hold your hand, and you'll hold the quill with him, and you will physically write a letter. It's the most amazing experience ever. A kosher bird. What makes a bird kosher? They cannot be scavengers. So they cannot eat any other animals. Worms don't count. Worms are parv. But so chicken, turkey, usually it's a turkey quill. But any kind of kosher bird is what they're going to use for the quill. And they carefully, slice it and so forth to create the point, because they're writing very, very small and some amazing detail as well. Yes?
How do they write like that neat in like such columns? Like,
So the columns are definitely helped because they're etched into here, so they're using those as guidelines.
oh wait, I see it.
Do you see it? See right here? Uh-huh. So that's helping keep it straight, but it's years and years of practice. A scribe doesn't just learn how to do the letters and boom, sit down and write a Torah scroll. They actually start with first a mezuzah scroll. Mezuzah is the thing that we put on the doorpost of our house. There's a little tiny scroll inside there that contains 3 different paragraphs from the Torah. So could you imagine how tiny they have to write there with a quill? So that's their first test. The second thing that they write is a Megillah that we read on Purim, Megillat Esther. And then finally they can graduate up to a Torah scroll once they've perfected that. It takes years to learn how to be a Torah scribe. It can take about a year. It depends on how fast the scribe will write. So, but really, if they're sitting down, they're really focused on it, it can take a year, maybe a little bit less.
Why are all of the Torahs in here different? They're older, but why they're all the same verbiage?
As far as the words go, exactly the same. If I laid them out next to each other, they're all exactly the same. If I laid out this Torah scroll next to a Torah scroll in Arkansas, same exact thing, because you copy from one Torah scroll to another exactly. Why we have so many is really because we're very fortunate that we've been able to acquire these different Torah scrolls, and especially that Czech Torah scroll we were very fortunate to acquire. And so some congregations may only have 1 or 2 scrolls. It really depends. There's some congregations that have a lot of Torah scrolls. And in fact, when we wrote this one, to make space for this one, we took one of our Torah scrolls and we donated it to a community in the former Soviet Union. And their rabbi came out here, and we did a whole weekend of studying with her and so forth, and then she carried it back to Russia with her, back to her congregation. How do you transport a Torah on a plane? In a duffel bag. You wrap it carefully, put it in a duffel bag, you take it as carry-on. And hopefully they're really nice, so let you put it like in the closet or something that's in there. It is fairly heavy. Every Torah scroll is a little bit different because it's based on the parchment. This parchment happens to be very, very thick. And in fact, the scribe who's working on our Torah scroll right now, he's like, oh my gosh, if I made a Torah scroll this heavy, I would be fired. So it definitely, this is a very, very heavy one. But some of them are extremely light. In fact, the Czech Torah scroll is very, very light. So really, it depends on the parchment. It depends on the atzei chaim, which are the spindles as well. Yes.
One more question.
Go for it.
I noticed when you open the ark
Uh-huh.
up, there's all of these ones, and there's this one giant shiny one. What's that?
That's the Torah scroll. That's the Sephardic Torah scroll. This is exactly the same, but it's put into its own case because Sephardic Jews come from the Middle East and from Spain. The weather there, very dry, and a lot of sand. So you want to protect it, and they're more nomadic. So you want to protect the Torah scroll. If I just traveled around with this Torah scroll in the cover that we have, it would get hurt by the elements. So that's to help protect it. And actually, the parchment that's in there is made from deer skin. So it feels more like leather. It's very, very cool. We actually bring that one down. We use that on Yom Kippur. Because that one we have to actually bring out a ladder. You want to talk about heavy. So, all right. Well, thank you all very, very much. Thank you very much. You'll go ahead and take that down there. You guys hold on to that. You've got the yad. Perfect. So I'm going to use this one up here. Thank you, my friend. All right. Let's get ready for reading of our Torah. Thank you. All right. You can go ahead and go have a seat, my friend. Okay. I need to clean. There we go. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for being my singer. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are reading from a double Torah portion. So, Torah has to be has to be read within 1 year period. Now, there are some years where it's called a leap year, and because we go by the lunar calendar. The lunar calendar is shorter than a solar calendar. So, for example, in Islam, when they have the month of Ramadan, their holiest month of the year, you notice that it kind of moves throughout the cycle of the year because they're also on a lunar cycle. But with us, with our calendar, we need it to remain sort of the same because our holidays are based on harvest festivals. Okay, so fall harvest, which is Sukkot, Pesach, Passover, which is the spring harvest, and then Shavuot, which is the summer harvest. If I stick to the lunar calendar without making a correction, then I have a problem because everything's going to move, and I can't do that because then I can't celebrate the harvests. So we create a leap year where we add 7 out of 19 years. It's kind of a weird pattern. We add a leap month, an entire month. So on those years when we have a leap year, we go ahead and we add portions. And so we take these double portions like we have today called Acharemot and Kiddushim, and we split them up. But right now, because we're not in a leap year, we have combined the Torah portions. We're not reading the entire Torah portion, but we're going to get a flavor for it. And so with that, Cantor, if we can start with our first aliyah.
For the first aliyah, chanting the blessing, Linda Howard, Leah Bat Baruch V'Chaya Sarah, Cynthia Benader, Tsivya Aryeh, Bat Baruch V'Chaya Sarah, and Joyce Witt, Dietza Barucha, Bat Baruch V'Chaya Sarah. Reading the English translation, Donald Benader, David Mordechai, Ben Yitzchak, Sylvia.
Come on around here.
Ya'amdu l'aliyah harishona.
All right. So hang on 1 second. We're going to borrow David. Come on over here. We're going to let you use your seat right there. If you will go ahead and take your seat, touch it to the first word. Beautiful. Thank you. They are their exact same.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach li'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael. ואמרת עליהם קדושים תהיו, כי קדוש אני אדוני אלוהיכם. איש אמו ואביו תיראו, ואת שבתותי תשמורו, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אל תפנו אל האלילים ואלוהי מסכה, לא תעשו לכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to all the congregation of Israel, and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, Adonai, your God, am holy. You shall each revere his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am Adonai, your God. Do not turn to idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am Adonai, your God.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. For our second aliyah, chanting the blessing, Marissa Ripe Kimma, Avigal Chana Bat Tzvi Veditza, Aaron Ben Nader, Eliezer Ben David Mordechai Vitsivya Aryeh, and Elliot Ben Nader, Eliyahu Ben David Mordechai Vitsivya Aryeh. Reading the English translation, Sonny Goldstein, Baruch Ben Yitzchak V'Riva, Ya'amdu l'aliyah hashenit.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher ha'armanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. ובקוצרכם את קציר ארצכם, לא תכלה פאת שדך לקצור, ולקט קצרך לא תלקט, וכרמך לא תעולל, ופרת כרמך לא תלקט, לעוני ולגר תעזוב אותם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. לא תגנובו ולא תכחשו ולא תשקרו איש בעמיתו, ולא תשבעו בשמי לשקר, וחיללת את שם אלוהיך, אני אדוני. לא תעשוק את רעך ולא תגזול, לא תלין פעולת שכיר, איתך עד בוקר.
Sunny? Sunny.
When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the very corners of your field. nor shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not glean your vineyard, nor shall you gather every grape of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Adonai your God. You shall not steal, nor deal falsely, nor lie one to another. And you shall not swear by my name falsely, nor shall you profane the name of your God. I am Adonai. You shall not defraud your neighbor, nor rob him. The wages of he who is hired shall not remain with you all night until the morning.
And so if you all want to take your seats, Advoca right here. Go ahead and you can take your seat and kiss once more. There. Okay, go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you.
For our third aliyah, chanting the blessing, Melanie Lokkesmoe, Hona Tira Bat Leah, and reading the English translation will be Justin Lokkesmoe. Ya'amdu l'aliyah hashlishit.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lo tikalel cheresh v'lifnei hiver lo titen mikshol v'yaret am Elohecha ani Adonai. Lo ta'asu avel b'mishpat lo tisaf pnei dal v'lo tedar pnei gadol b'tzedek tishpot amitecha. Lo telech rachil me'amecha, lo ta'amod al dam re'echa, ani Adonai. Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha, hocheach tochiach et amitecha, v'lo tisa alav chet. Lo tikom v'lo titor et b'nei amecha, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ani Adonai.
You shall not insult the deaf, or place a stumbling block before the blind. You shall revere your God. I am Adonai. You shall not act unrighteously in judgment. You shall not favor the poor, nor show deference to the powerful. But in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. You shall not go about as a slanderer among your people, nor shall you stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. I am Adonai. You shall not hate your kinsman in your heart. Reason with your neighbor, but do not allow sin on his account. You shall not avenge, nor bear any grudge against your kinfolk. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Adonai.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Stay right here. Justin, come on over on this side. And Shawl, listen up, because you want to see what's going to happen next. This is awesome. Yes.
Ya'amod habachur habar mitzvah, Ruven Baruch ben Honatira l'aliyah haTorah.
Okay, so now, wait, I gotta take a step back. just a sec. Take your tzitzit. We're going to touch it to the first word that Kendra's showing you. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Nice. All right, my friend.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavora.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol haomim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mom and Dad, go ahead and hold that. Go ahead, Justin, right here.
V'hiv daltem bein habehema hatehora latemeya uvein haof hatame latahor velo teshaketsu et nofshotehem babehema uvaof uvehol asher tirmos hadama asher hivdalti lahem letame ve'edon etchem vihitem li kedoshim ki kadosh ani Adonai ve'avdil etchem min haomim lihiot li ve'ish o isha ki yehieh bahem ov o yumatu yedoni mot yumatu ba'even yirgamu otam demehem bam.
Yasher koach. Now go ahead and do the English. Let's close this. There you go.
So you shall set apart the clean beast from the unclean, the unclean bird from the clean. You shall not draw abomination upon yourselves through beast or bird or anything with which the ground is alive, which I have set apart for you to treat as unclean. You shall be holy to me, for I, Adonai, am holy, and I have set you apart from other peoples to be mine. A man or woman who has a ghost or a familiar spirit shall be put to death. They shall be pelted with stones. Their blood guilt shall be upon them. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata bedohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Mazel tov.
Thanks.
Give a hug to them. There you go. We're going to stay right here for just a moment, Will, as we're going to take a moment to offer a Mishaberach, a prayer for healing for all of those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. I invite you to think about those within our community, friends, family of any faith, any tradition, who are in need of healing. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all of those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored, their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send all of them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen. As at this time now, I'd like to invite forward, I need Jonathan and Rebecca and Benjamin and Livy. You guys have the Torah cover? You have the Torah binder and you have the yad? Perfect. Bring those all up here because you're going to help me dress the Torah in a second. And I need to also have Maxine Kaplan. Where's Maxine? Oh, there she is. Hello, Maxine. Welcome. Come on up. You're going to be our Torah holder. And so I'm going to have you take a seat in the middle seat right over there where there's arms. And now we're going to have a chance to see, hi. Okay, you're going to want to move because I'm going to be lifting this thing straight up. And the last thing I want to do is hit you with it because it's really heavy. All right, so we're going to invite everyone to please rise as we give honor to the Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
There you go. Good job. Thank you.
The Haftarah for Parashat Kedoshim is Amos chapter 9, verses 11 through 15. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar binvim tovim veratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai habocher ba'Torah Uv Moshe Avdo, Uv Yisrael Amo, Uv Nivi Ha'emet V'Tzedek. Bayom Hahu Akim et Sukkah David Hanofelet V'hardarti et Pirtzehen V'harisotav Akim Uvniti Ha Kime Olam Lema'an Yershu et She'eri Edom v'hol hagoyim asher nikra shime alechem ne'um Adonai osezot. In that day I will set up again the fallen booth of David. I will mend its breaches and set up its ruins anew. I will build it firm as in the days of old, so that they shall possess the rest of Edom and all the nations once attached to my name, declares Adonai, who will bring this to pass. A time is coming, declares Adonai, when the plowman shall meet the reaper, and the treader of grapes, God, who holds the bag of seed. When the mountains shall drip wine, and all the hills shall wave with grain. I will restore my people Israel. They shall rebuild ruined cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink their wine. They shall till gardens and eat their fruits, and I will plant them upon their soil, never more to be uprooted from the soil I have given them, said Adonai, your God. Baru atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim sadik behol hadarot ha'el ha'ne'ema ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayeh shechol devara emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nvim ve'al Yom HaShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnuha lekavod ol tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otam yitbarach simha befi kol hai Tamid leolam va'ed baru atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Yasher koach, mazel tov. Are you breathing?
Huh?
Are you breathing?
Kind of.
Cool. Breathe a little deeper. It's all good. There you go. Awesome. We are going to continue on page 364 in our prayer books as we're going to return the Torah to the Ark. And I'd like to invite you all to please rise. And if you'll come open the Ark doors for us, please. Okay.
Hodohu al haaretz v'shamayim vayaren keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu. Etz chaim hi lamachazikim bam v'tomchei ha'meushar. Derachei darchei noam v'chol netivotei ha'shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh chadesh yameinu chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Please be seated.
As most of you know, my dad is in the military, so I move a lot. I have lived in California, Hawaii, North Carolina, and Georgia. As a result, I've been a stranger to people many times. And let me tell you, from my experience, it can be difficult to adjust to a new area where you don't know anyone. For example, when I moved to Hawaii, I was just in the 2nd grade and I didn't know anybody. Therefore, I was a stranger to everyone. Quickly after everyone got to know me, they began to welcome me into my new school. These people who didn't even know me reached out to me, and that felt so good to be welcomed into a new community. In this week's Torah portion, Aharei Mot Kiddushim, we're given 22 commandments that we are expected to live by. But the one commandment from this week's Torah portion that really stands out to me is to love your neighbor as yourself. This statement has so many different meanings. As I said in the beginning, I've often been the recipient of being loved as a stranger. But what does love mean? God created every human in his image, so the phrase love your neighbor as yourself means that if you love other people, you are essentially loving God. Before you judge someone, you should get to know them, know their struggles, and find out their story. Everyone has a story to tell, and just because they look or dress a certain way, it doesn't mean that they should be treated differently. Throughout history, people have figured out many ways to love your neighbor as yourself. This is one way that we can be holy to God. People have been trying to understand whether this means to reach out to strangers or love everyone no matter what race, background, or ethnicity. For example, even though my Torah portion uses the word neighbor, we can assume that neighbor can mean any person that we come in contact with. This commandment seems to tell us to treat all people with respect. It felt great to be welcomed as a neighbor every time that I moved. As a result, I want to make others feel loved and supported, just as I felt and as my Torah portion points out, that we should love our neighbors as we do ourselves. In May of 2004, a girl named Kaylin Graham was born. When she was 11 days old, she had her first open heart surgery. The doctors realized that Kaylin was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. This means that she was born with only half of her heart. Her left ventricle did not develop. More than 32,000 like Kaylin are born with congenital heart defects each year. To this day, she has undergone 33 surgeries. Kaylin is my age, yet our lives are very different because I can't even begin to imagine everything she's gone through. She always makes the best out of every situation and is always positive. She's such a trooper and is kind and vibrant. Her motto is, keep moving forward. In February of 2016, my family and I supported Kaylin and the American Heart Association with a 5-mile walk in Anaheim, and this is when I learned her story. Getting to know her story has made me think about how important it is to love your neighbor as yourself by helping others who are going through tough times. Every advance in medicine has come from research, and my goal for my Mitzvah project is to raise money, to donate to the American Heart Association in order to fund research, in Kaylin's honor. I designed and sold coffee mugs and reusable grocery bags. All of the money I raised was donated to the American Heart Association to support Kaylin's cause. One person can make a difference in another person's life, and that is the best feeling in the world. I hope that my money raised can help fund research that will provide solutions to help Kaylin as she continues her journey. As a Jew, God wants us to be holy. Some of the other commandments given to us in this week's Torah portion are, do not steal, do not make false promises, do not intentionally hurt others, do not hate others, do not take vengeance, and do not bear a grudge. As I am becoming a bar mitzvah on this day, I want to strive to follow these guidelines. As I've shown, one person can make a difference in someone else's life. Being holy could mean several different things, but this is how I interpret it. I interpret this as trying our best to make things right and give your best effort to follow the commandments. It can be hard sometimes. Do not be average, but instead be above average. Next time you meet someone new, take a minute to talk with them, hear their story. Don't judge them. Take the opportunity to think about and care for others as you would yourself. All in all, remember this as you go home and continue your journey through life. Thank you to Rabbi Cohen and Cantor Reinwald, who have prepared me for my bar mitzvah and have supported me the whole way through, as well as being patient every time I forgot my book. I would also like to thank my wonderful parents who set this whole thing up and have got me this far. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Lastly, but certainly not least, thank you to all my friends and family for coming from places near and far to celebrate this special occasion with me. I'm truly grateful for all of the love and support from everyone in this room, and I'm so lucky for each and every one of you. Please join us in the living room for Kiddush Lunch following the service. Shabbat Sholom.
Thank you again to all of you for being here. Yes, I am. Your dad and I are so proud of everything that you have done to bring you to this milestone in your life. We are very lucky to be a part of such a vibrant Jewish community in Southern California. I'm not sure today if you remember how we found this temple, but I'd like to take a moment to remind you. Your great Uncle Sonny, visiting from out of town, attended a bar mitzvah at this temple when you were just 4 years old. And when he came back from that service, he said the rabbi was just wonderful and the music was so beautiful. And because this happened around the time we were looking for a religious school, we decided to check it out. And we learned that he was right. The rabbi is wonderful, and the music at Temple Beth Shalom is always beautiful. And so I'd like to take a moment to thank your great Uncle Sonny for finding such a wonderful Jewish community. That's one of the reasons we're here today. Your Hebrew name is Baruch, after your great-grandfather Bernard Witt. Baruch translates in English to mean blessing. As you know, one of the themes in religious school this year is you are a blessing. You have been a blessing to your dad and I in more ways than we can even begin to express in words. Your sense of humor and kind nature are a joy to us all. I want to express this to you as you become a bar mitzvah this morning, that you are and always will be our blessing. My hope for you this day as you become a man and go out into the world is that you will be a blessing to others. Fill your heart with mitzvot and constantly remember to help others with generosity along your way. Just as you are doing for Caitlin. Be a blessing, embrace your Jewish life and all of the many traditions that we have been given by generations past. For as you are becoming a bar mitzvah, today is not the end of your journey, but you have only just begun. Let your whole life be a blessing.
Those are two really tough acts to follow. So you guys are stuck with me for the last one.
Is that a phone on Shabbat?
Shh, it's okay. So I had to write some stuff down so I don't get distracted and sidetracked. Well, since I first met you, I knew you were a special, wonderful boy who was destined for great things. Watching you grow from a baby to a boy, and now to a man in the Jewish tradition has been amazing. Your mom and I, your mom more so, are very grateful that the state of California is going to let us raise you as a boy for a few more years. Because you're going to be a full-grown man before we know it. And this stool, I hope you're even taller than you standing on it right now. The last 13 years have gone by far too quickly. And I want to make the most of the remaining 5 we have with you before you journey out into the world. Your accomplishments thus far have been nothing short of amazing. And they're far too numerous to list today. I could name them, but I want to let us finish the ceremony sometime before the party tonight. So instead, I'm going to talk just a little bit about your character. You have done such a great job helping your family and friends. You have such a kind heart. And while we all have a little room for improvement, at your core, you're a compassionate, confident, but not arrogant, and intelligent young man. Everyone here, and many more who can't be here today, are so happy to have you in our lives. I know that you and Mom have to put up with a lot of disappointment with my career, especially since I have to leave fairly soon for a year. I feel sadness at this thought, but I also feel happiness. And I take comfort in the fact you will help your mom and George, who's our Yorkie, get through this tough time together, because you are now a man of strong compassion and character. I love you more than ever each day, and I'm so excited to see you pass this milestone and come into manhood. I love you.
So, excuse me one second, let me go on this side for a moment. You become bar mitzvah not only with your family and friends, but also amongst the Jewish community here at Temple Beth Shalom, which Uncle Sonny, thank you. We are truly grateful because right here stands an amazing person who is filled with music. And so it's absolutely wonderful, and we are grateful to have you as a part of our community of Temple Beth Shalom. Therefore, I would like to invite forward a few people to make a presentation to you on behalf of our sisterhood, Brenda Beck, our brotherhood, Arnold Sugarman, and also then Sam Boone to come forward on behalf of our youth groups. And as they're coming forward, I get to share with you that the board of directors shares with you your prayer book that they gave to you actually, but you've been using it already. continue to use it in good health, and to remember there are a lot of wonderful readings of inspiration in here as well. So, you know, those moments where you need a little kind of insight or something, just like open it randomly. It'll be amazing that you'll find something very cool in it. Of course, your certificate of becoming a bar mitzvah, it might not be a driver's license, but is a license to drive Torah. So there you go. As well as there's a scholarship from NIFTY, the North American Federation of Temple Youth, that will help get you to Israel so that you can go and visit your final gift, that a tree has been planted in your honor in Israel, and you should go visit it and make sure that you remember something really important. You need to water your tree. And your watering day is Thursday. So there you go. So with that, I'm going to invite Sam. Here you go, my friend.
I've known you 3 or 4 years now, and it's been an amazing journey at Hebrew school. Sundays and Tuesdays, you made it so much more fun. And it's amazing to see how far you've come today becoming a bar mitzvah, and you did so good. Mazel tov. And on behalf of the youth group, we grant you with a Havdalah candle.
Will. Deep breath. Mazel tov. On behalf of TBS Sisterhood, I am so happy to have been here with your family and all of your friends to witness this very special occasion. And on behalf of Sisterhood, I'd like to give you a Kiddush cup so that every time you use it, even many, many years in the future, you'll look at this cup, you'll think about today, you'll think about everyone who's here, and have wonderful memories. Mazel tov.
Well, Will, you were the star today, and congratulations to you. But just remember, every star has a supporting cast, hardworking in the background. That's your parents, and congratulations to you as well. On behalf of the Brotherhood of Temple Beth Sholom, it's my pleasure to give you this tzedakah box for you. This tzedakah box is, well, the word tzedakah, from the word tzedakah comes the word tzedek, righteous, and it is a righteous thing to do, to give to others, and you have done that, as you described so eloquently in your talk this morning. So as you gather the nickels and dimes and quarters and dollars in this tzedakah box to give to others, just remember that the act of giving gives back to you manyfold. And so congratulations again to you for a wonderful, wonderful bar mitzvah.
So, Will, today you are going to receive many blessings. We all have the ability to bless, and we should take those moments today, tonight, and days ahead to please offer Will your blessings, your thoughts for a wonderful future ahead for him, as well as even, blessings of history. There's a lot of stories of family and of friends and community that get to be imparted upon you, that you become the storyteller, the bearer of those wonderful stories. But at this time, it is my honor to invite forward your parents. So Melanie and Justin, if you'll come join Cantor Reinwald and myself, along with Will, at the Ark, as we rise now and we get to bestow our blessings upon him. There you go. There you go. So, Will, you made it. You're here. And I remember that first time that you came to Temple Beth Sholom. This little redhead kid, a little bit shy, but also a lot of energy too. But such good energy. And what was so amazing about you then and is amazing about you now is that you totally put yourself into community. You put yourself into whatever situation is happening there around you. You are not just a part of it, you are within that lifeblood of it all. This week's Torah portion, as you said, as you taught us, is to make sure that we treat the strangers among us equally and with kindness and compassion. Well, as you have said, you have been a stranger before. But what I really noticed about you then, and what I always notice about you now, is you don't allow yourself to be a stranger for very long. You allow yourself to be a part of it. You allow yourself to be woven into the fabric of the community. But also, you welcome others. You embrace those who might come, who are new, who have no idea what's going on or where they're at, and you weave them also into that fabric of community. Please continue to do that. Continue to welcome the stranger and continue to those moments wherever life may lead you, to whatever places and great adventures you get to experience. Always remember that how it feels to be treated with kindness and compassion and to share that compassion with others. That is truly a blessing. You, my friend, are a blessing, just as your mom said was our big theme for this year, about how we are blessings and how we share that with others. So it's our honor at this time to give to you the words of our Torah that have been passed on from one generation to the next, words of blessing that God bestows upon us that we get to share with you and that someday you too will share with future generations. So Mom and Dad, come on in here as well. Come closer. There we go, as we get to offer you these words of Torah.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and watch over you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine on you, in you, and through you, and may God be truly gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseim lecha Shalom.
Will, may you always feel God's presence with you, always there shining upon you, and may God grant you a life that is filled with good health, with happiness, and most important of all, a life that is filled with shalom, with peace. Kei nihi ratzon, be this God's will. As we remain standing and we turn once again in our prayer books to page 586, Aleinu l'shabeach, our closing prayers.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
If you'll come join me right down here. So we remain standing and our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, yet truly their memories are all a blessing. We remember those whose yahrzeits we recall on this Shabbat and during this coming week. Those who've recently departed, Mark Francis and Cecil Chakow. We also remember those whose yahrzeits we recall on this Shabbat, Betty Rikus Arshan, Ida Barnett, Mark Brownstein, Jacob Bryan, Albert Seibel, Judy Davies, Rose Fear, Alan Friedman, Norman Friedman, Stephen Brad Glasser, William Golden, Rosalind Gerwitz, Samuel Heitzer, Arlene Carol Hunyu, Anna Enelo Katz, Sylvia Katz, Pessa Klipstein, Max Lash, June S. Levy, Joseph Light, Salvatore Mayo, Sadie Myers, Ida Nice, Harry Orenstein, Mary Sambita, Florence Silver, Paul Smith, Nathan Zuckerman, Lester Thal, Gil Tokerman, Samuel Waldman, Roberta Wendy Whitcomb, and Florence L. Zimmerman. If anyone is here who's in the period of mourning of Shiva, Shloshim, or Shana, or is observing a yahrzeit of a loved one whose name I have not called, I invite you, as I face in your direction, to please share their names with us. For all of them and for all those who have given their lives al Kiddush Hashem, for the sanctification of God's holy name, and for all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we join together, page 294 or 598, for Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish. Melanie, stay up here. Here you go, come on over here. Here you go. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, bi'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam l'omei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say together, amen. Now, why do I have you all up here? Well, because we're going to do our closing song together. Exactly. So, come over here next to Dad. There you go. And after our closing song, we're going to join together in the living room, which is off to your left. We have Kiddush and Motzi. There'll be little cups of grape juice. Please don't drink from them. Take one, but don't drink it yet. And we're going to come together and we'll do Kiddush and Shehechianu, and we'll do a Motzi in honor of Will becoming Bar Mitzvah. There you go. So with that, feel free to put your arms around somebody next to you. If you don't know who they are, say hello. And we join together.
Oh, say shalom b'mromav, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Mazel tov.